All right, last week I showed you how to make the leg levelers out of bolts for a desk I'm building for my wife, so I figured I would show my finishing technique that I went through for this particular project, taught to me by a very good friend, so let's just get into it. Oh yeah, here we are. Give her a little stir. Now I know there's a little patch, a little Dutchman right in the middle here, and that's going to absorb a lot more. See, it just got really dark there, but I'm not too worried about that because actually I knew that, and this was, like I said, like kind of a scrap piece. I guess you'd call it a scrap piece of plywood. And her computer monitor will cover that, the stand for the computer monitor. I'm just trying to flood it right now with dye. Which reminds me, I have a video that I still need to edit. A good friend of mine, this is a technique he showed me years ago. It's a water-based dye. I'll put links down in the description and everything. But you basically just flood it and kind of wipe it around. I do 1 or 2 light coats. Well, I shouldn't say light coats, but the next coat, if there's any kind of spots that need a little bit more, kind of let it drink in as much as it wants. If anyone in the comments, I was debating putting wood glue in there, CA, anything to try and seal that end grain, even like some shellac, but then I figured this dye wasn't going to go in that area nearly as well. So if anyone has any idea on how to, this was plywood I had laying around, this little piece of Baltic birch. And then just keep that dye moving, and you'll see areas that immediately just kind of soak it all up and get real thirsty. And then just kind of move it around in those areas. It's looking pretty good. Now when I wipe the dye off, this is the kind of, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but when I wipe the dye off, it actually looks really bad until you get a clear on there. So don't be discouraged by that. First few times I used this stuff, it was pretty much like freaking out as soon as I was starting to wipe it off. Because wet, it looks pretty good, but you can never get it even. But you're not supposed to get it even necessarily. I mean, as even as you can, but you're always going to have like little puddles. That's why you come and you wipe it off. With me having a little bit more time to do some editing, maybe I'll try and edit that video with Bob and I. He talks about figured wood. He's a real good guy. If you guys don't follow him on Instagram, he's Bob Close 456, and I've been meaning to put that video together of dyeing curly maple and just kind of talking about dyeing figured wood because he's got a couple really neat techniques. And my lovely wife has been holding this camera freehand for the entire time. You don't want to? Are you been zooming in and all that?
A little.
All right. Now at this point, I'm not even really adding any. I'm just kind of looking for the overall sheen. And you'll see spots that kind of soaked it up. And just keep moving it around. If you see any light spots, move some to that area. It's not rocket science. It's actually pretty straightforward. We were going to leave the center section of the top just bare wood, but it's kind of a last minute decision. Like I said, I knew about that little patch beforehand. Not much you can do about it. Oh well. All right, and I'll just now keep wiping it down until I don't really pick up any more of that dye, just get any puddles, and then I'll let that dry thoroughly because I was planning on doing a lacquer top with this, or a lacquer top coat. And this is a water-based dye, and any water that wicks out into lacquer, you'll get like little bubbles and little foggy spots, and it's it's not good. So I'll let this dry real nice, and we'll come back to it. All right, so this is what it looks like before any clear coat. It's not perfect. It's not all that blotchy though. I got a little bit lucky. But now it's time for a little bit of clear. I was going to spray some vinyl sealer, but my compressor's actually down right now, and I don't know why. I don't have time to necessarily look at that. But so, aerosol lacquer it is. By the time I even get to the end here and keep a wet edge, this is already dry. But that's how that first coat goes. It just sucks it right up. But there we go. Let that dry. Throw another coat on. Scuff it. A couple more coats. Should be good for the top. And here's after 2 coats of lacquer. I think I'm going to put 1 or 2 more coats on and then scuff it. I'm so glad that that's going to get covered by her computer monitor, but what else are you going to do, right? Alright, just sanding. This will probably be the last sanding of the table. I just got some really fine, probably 400 or 600, and then it's just on a piece of maple that was flat out of the planer. And I just kind of like to go over it, and it eliminates any kind of high spots, takes out a little bit of orange peel. But then also with lacquer, what I like to do, and I've been experimenting with this for a couple years now, is I actually leave the lacquer dust on there. I actually sand in a way to where it's pretty even, and the lacquer dust is actually left behind, and that way when I go to respray it, all that lacquer dust and all the pores kind of reconstitutes and acts as a pore filler, and I get a much quicker build on the finish. So something to try if you have a finish that's, you know, kind of chemically melts back with its former self. Shellac does the same thing. Polyurethane, no. But yeah, try your hand at some different finishes that way. Okay, this is, I want to say 4 coats, maybe 5. I've sanded, probably 6 coats. Sanded twice lightly. Really hard to try and show the grain, but a lot of it is filled in already. Alright, as for the finish, the wife and I were kind of discussing it and hanging out in the shop while I was doing the top, and it kept going and going to kind of a higher shine. I'm no Ansel Adams. Hopefully I can get some decent pictures to kind of show how that, it's a really dark, rich color. For plywood, it's not bad. It's for a piece of plywood. Right now I have it sitting up on the legs temporarily. One of the legs didn't even get sanded or painted yet because some idiot decided he wanted to make a video on how the feet work on the bottom. But so if you haven't seen that one. So we took the top a little bit further. Let me know what you think about that whole sanding and leaving the dust on. I should probably have clarified a little bit more before about that. I leave it on as pretty smooth as I can, but no, it's a noticeable build. And I've never had a problem so long as your subsequent coats are heavy enough to wet out the full way. I don't know, maybe I'm destroying the world by, you know, infiltrating the secret society of paint engineering. I have no idea, but, you know, so let me know what you guys think of that. It's a quicker build. It's kind of a neat way of doing it. I like doing it, so give it a shot. Go, you know, I don't know. Now I'm rambling. So if you want to see the desk get completed, I'm literally filming the rest tonight, hopefully, because I got to get this desk done, but I'm going to do some cross members on the back so it gives it a little bit of side-to-side stability. All right, well, hit the bell notification thing, subscribe, members, all that stuff. If you like my stuff, you'll find a way. All right, later.